A beautiful, intelligent, promising young woman vanished without a trace in the tourist paradise of Aruba. Nearly 20 years have passed and justice has yet to be served. Who is responsible for the disappearance of Natalee Holloway? And why has this case haunted the entire United States? In today's video, we will look at this strange and baffling case. Born in 1986 in Birmingham, Alabama, USA, Natalee Holloway was a good student who enjoyed school and excelled in academics. She had recently graduated from Mountain Brook High School and was waiting to start studying at the University of Alabama in the fall of 2005. But first, she decided to go on a graduation trip with some friends to the island of Aruba. On May, the group flew out to the island, which is part of the Lesser Antilles archipelago in the Caribbean. The islands are known for their white sand beaches, turquoise waters, and relaxed atmosphere. It is a perfect place for a getaway. When they arrived, Natalee and her friends checked into the Tamarind Aruba all-inclusive resort, located on the low-rise section of the island's west coast. They were planning to stay there for 5 days, going on tour, exploring the island, and enjoying the beaches. But after a few days of sightseeing, Natalee and some of her friends decided to go out for a night of partying. The group went to a popular spot called Carlos and Charlie's on the evening of May. It was a lively bar with live music, dancing, and lots of tourists. Natalee, being the fun-loving person she was excited to go out for the night and let loose with her friends. According to the reports, the group had been drinking at the bar since 7 p.m. when they met up. And by 9:30, they were very intoxicated. Around 10:45 p.m., the group left the bar and headed to another nightclub. But just before reaching there, they split up. Most of Natalee's friends went to the club, but she decided to take a shortcut through a quiet residential area, presumably to return to the hotel. That was the last time anyone saw Natalee alive. Her friends became worried when she didn't show up at the hotel and reported her missing in the morning. What happened to Natalee in those few hours between 10:45 p.m. on May and when she was reported missing on May is still a mystery. The last confirmed sighting of Natalee put her near a beach area known as the High-Rise Strip, far from her hotel, which was on the Low-Rise Strip. Nobody knows how she got there or why. It seems like the case would be simple to investigate, because it's a small island and every single person coming in or going out is recorded at the airport. Furthermore, everybody knew Natalee was missing. So if anyone saw her after 10:45 p.m., they would have reported it. But despite all these advantages, the police were unable to find any clues as to what had happened to her. Aruba is an island with a population of 100,000 people and a large number of tourists visiting annually. When Natalee disappeared, it immediately became the talk of the town. Everybody was looking for her, and everybody wanted her found safe and sound. The local authorities were quickly overwhelmed by the amount of leads and tips coming in from around the world. So they reached out to the FBI for help. Within a week, the whole country was involved in the search. Teams of divers scoured the beaches and caves for any sign of Natalee, while others interviewed witnesses and followed up on tips. But as the days turned into weeks and months, the hope of finding Natalee alive began to fade. As the investigation progressed, the police focused on a few individuals who were seen with Natalee on the night of her disappearance. One of them was a local youth named Joran Sloot. Joran was a charismatic young man who was known for his good looks and charming personality. He worked at the same bar where Natalee had been drinking before she disappeared. And according to reports, he was the last person to be seen with her. On the night of May, Joran was hanging out with his two friends, Satish and Deepak Kalpo, and they claimed to have met Natalee at Carlos and Charlie's earlier in the night. They said that Natalee approached them and started chatting, and they invited her to join them for the night. At around 10:45 p.m., they left the bar together and headed towards the high-rise area where Natalee was last seen. According to Joran's statement, they stopped at a supermarket on the way and Natalee stayed in the car while the three friends went inside. When they came out, however, Natalee was nowhere to be seen. They searched for her for a bit, but couldn't find her, so they just assumed that she had gone back to her hotel. Joran claimed that he left the other two boys and went back to the beach to look for her, but couldn't find her. So he went home. That was the last time anyone saw Natalee. At first, the police believed Joran's story and let him go. But soon they started getting conflicting reports from him. Every time the police questioned Joran, he gave them a different account of what happened, and none of it made sense. Plus, nobody could confirm his alibi for the night of the incident. After a few weeks, the police arrested Joran again and charged him with hindering the investigation, believing that he was hiding something. Joran was released again after 2 months due to lack of evidence. The case remained unsolved, and the media frenzy continued. For years, the police pursued various leads, but nothing panned out. They searched the beaches, caves, and oceans of Aruba, but never found any trace of Natalee. As time went on, the hope of finding her alive dwindled, but the determination to find out what happened to her never did. Strangely, the police could not even prove that Natalee was dead. There was no body, no murder weapon, and no physical evidence linking any suspect to the crime scene. The only thing that came close was a video of Joran appearing to confess to the crime. But even that wasn't enough to convict him. In the video, Joran admitted to being with Natalee on the night of her disappearance, but claimed that they had consensual sex on the beach and she left afterwards. He said that he was sorry for what happened and that he didn't mean for things to end the way they did. However, he refused to tell the police where Natalee's body was, citing fear of retaliation from his friends. Based on this confession, the police arrested Joran once again in 2007, but once again, they could not charge him due to lack of evidence. To make matters worse, the case took a bizarre turn when Joran traveled to Peru in 2010 and was arrested for the murder of another girl, Stephanie Flores. According to reports, Joran had met Stephanie online and invited her to meet up at a hotel in Lima, but she never came out of her room alive. Joran was convicted of her murder in 2012 and sentenced to 28 years in prison. But even then, he was never convicted for Natalee's murder. Despite all the twists and turns in the case, the Holloway family never gave up hope of finding justice for their daughter. They continued to fight for answers and raise awareness about the case, hoping that someone out there knew what happened to Natalee and would come forward with the information. For the past 20 years, they have traveled the world, appearing on TV shows and giving interviews, all in the hope of finding Natalee. Their determination and strength have inspired many people around the world who have supported them through thick and thin. Now, nearly 20 years have passed since Natalee disappeared, and the case remains one of the most famous and perplexing unsolved mysteries of our time. The truth about what happened to her may have been buried forever, but her family and the public continue to fight for justice. Perhaps someday the truth will come out and Natalee's soul can finally rest in peace. What do you think happened to Natalee? Do you believe she is still alive, or is this a murder cover-up? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content. See you next time.